Welcome back to another Spotlight Photographics and Photo Solution Market new product tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new Game Day Series pennants, and these are available at coloradotimberline.com. Now these pennants are awesome. They're just like the old school felt pennants that you always would see kids get at the ballparks and of their favorite teams and put those up on their walls, but now you can get them completely customized, full sublimated from Colorado Timberline for only $4. That's right, $4, and you get this awesome pennant. They're really good size pennant, just like the same size as the old school ones. So they're not really small pennants. They're really a good size. So today we're going to be talking about a couple of the templates and showing you how they work. Now, if you're familiar with any of our other Game Day Series items, you'll recognize the names of these designs and also the fact that they do match graphically with their other counterparts. For example, the sportswear, the banners, the panoramics, the extreme teams, all of the Game Day Series items we try to match together to give you a full collection of different products that have the same theme to them, so that you can make a good presentation with all of the different items if you wanted to select just one design to pitch to your team. So going into this here, we're gonna go across a couple different ones. Right now on the website we have Volume 2 and Volume 3 available, and this one right here is probably the most popular one out of Volume 2, and this is the Equalizer template. And when you open the template up, this is how it's going to look. You're going to have the safe zone already applied at the top, which if you go over to your layers, you're going to see that, and you can turn that off and see the whole design. Now, I don't suggest working with this off, only because you could accidentally move some things out of the safe zone, because it's really hard with all of these grid lines to even suggest where the safe zone is. So I would suggest keeping this on while you design so that you can keep everything inside. Now you'll see that the safe zone on these templates is a full white blocked out area, but then you're going to see this kind of a translucent white around that in the inside. Now all the way, the whole white area out here, those are probably going to fall off. You're not going to see anything in this white area in the actual pennant. But between that white area and the inside of this translucent area, this is the safe area. So what they're considering at Colorado to be the safe zone is what's inside of this here. So not saying that anything that's between this and the white block here is going to be off of the pennant. That's not what I'm saying, but you don't want to put anything of importance in that area. So you wouldn't want to, for example, make your player go into it like this. That's probably going to be a bad thing. That's too close to their cut lines, because there is going to be some shifting that goes on when they press these. So you don't want to have anything outside of the safe zone that's important. Names, text, persons, or anything like that you don't want in there. So you want to keep that down inside the safe zone. And I've always made it a good point to stay a little bit even more past the safe zone inside of it, just to make sure that I'm not going to have any issues when it actually goes to print. But what we're going to do here is we're going to change a couple templates over to different colors so you can see how easy it is to change colors. We have the Equalizer here from Volume 2, and then we also have the Honeycomb here from Volume 3. And we're going to change it over using this guy here that we've already had cut out from our extraction service on our website. The new servo service is where this came from. They do a really good job. They get really good detail on everything, and it's fairly inexpensive. It's only $2 an image for an individual like this. So works out really good. So here what we're going to do is I'm going to come in and select our player here, and I'm going to go ahead and delete that player, and without changing anything over here or clicking on any other layers, I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop this guy right into the template. And I'm going to move him around and just position him where I want him to be. Now, of course, you would size your person at this point, but he actually came in pretty good. I might want to maybe shrink him down a little bit, get a little bit more of him in there, but I like that right there. And now we just need to change our colors over. So we come over here to our sides, and you're going to see we have a color overlay on this. Now, there's a couple different things that you can change colors with. If you see color overlays on the layers, that means that you're going to change the color on that layer using that method. You're also going to see some adjustment layers, which is actually in effect right up here with this one, which we'll get to in a minute. and then you also see some shape colors. For example, right here, this is a shape, and we'll go through all the different changes here. So now that I know this is where he's going to be, I'm going to turn this safe zone off just so I have a full picture of what's going on here. And we're just going to come down to the color overlay. We'll double click on that. And this is where it's always a good idea to have a color code. Now the color code for this team, I don't have it right now, but if you search online for color codes, for example, if you know that's canary yellow, you can type in canary yellow hex code online, and it's going to give you a code to actually paste right here, and that way you know that the code that the color you're putting in there is the exact color code, and it's not going off of your monitor, because unless your monitor is calibrated, it's not going to come out correctly, and some colors have a really bad problem with that. A lot of blues, greens, oranges, things like that have a pretty large spectrum when it comes to colors. So make sure you have color codes when you do anything with full sublimation, especially with Colorado Timberline. Have those color codes. But for the sake of this demonstration, I'm just going to go ahead and color pick on his jersey. Again, not what I would suggest, but that's what we're going to do there. So I've picked that yellow color off his jersey, and sometimes in the templates they're not going to react the same with the same color that was there. So what I'm going to do here is, if you go back into the color overlay, you're going to see there's a mode here, blend mode, and you can actually scroll through different blend modes to get different effects. Okay, so if you're having problems with the color that you selected reacting the same with that layer, just go through the different blend modes for the color, and you may end up coming out with the one that you want. So I'm just going to scroll through here. There we go. There's my yellow that I want. In fact, I'm going to make that a little bit more yellow and less orange. So we'll just go over here. There we go. Now if we wanted to change that over to blue, obviously we'd go ahead and hit blue. And I actually like blue better on this one. So we're going to go with that blue. And if we want to keep that same blue, once we've got it in there, obviously this is where that color code would come in. We can just copy that. And then we can use it for the rest. So we have a color on this light beam here, and this is an adjustment layer. If we double click on that adjustment layer, it's going to open up this palette here at the top, and there's two things that you can do here. You can use the slider bar to do this color this way, but if you're not finding the color that you want, for example, I think I would want to do this yellow, what you can do is come down and click on this colorize, and then you can raise your saturation back up. And now the slider bar here is going to be true to the colors that is actually on the bar at that moment. So if we're over here in the blues, it's going to be blue, with the purples, the reds. So I'm going to come over here to the yellows, and there we go. Now we also have the same thing over here for this light beam. Another one of those. So I'm just going to do colorize again, bring the saturation back up, and hit yellow. Okay. So there we go. So now what we're going to do is actually, alright, so we've got that done now, and all we need to do is just change our names. So we're going to take the text tool, and we can just highlight the jersey number here, and we'll just say this guy was number 8. And let's say that this guy actually wasn't number 8, so we can do a little bit of interesting things. We'll say he's 23. Okay. So now you can see that there's a big gap between the 2 and the 3. Here's another trick over here. We have a character spacing right here, the right to left spacing. If we move that back to 0, it squishes them back together, and then what we can do is just transform them and squish them together this way to fit them in. So there we go. And then we can highlight with the text tool again, highlight the last name. And you can see this was too large, so we'll do the same thing. Go ahead and apply that text, do a transform, and just squish this in to fit. And then highlight the first name. And then we can highlight the team name here and put electric baseball. Alright, so that is all you have to do to change the text on everything. At this point, we're going to turn this back on, just make sure everything fits inside. Looks like we are all okay. And then we just save this as a JPEG, and then we just upload that directly to Colorado Timberline's website to place the order for that template. Now, when you save this out as a JPEG, turn this off. You cannot leave this overlay turned on when you send that into Colorado Timberline. That needs to be off because you're sending a flattened JPEG, and if it's on there, that's going to be on your Pennant. Okay, so make sure that's off. So let's go over to the honeycomb. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and turn our safe zone off, and let's go ahead and change some colors up. Let's bring that person in here first. Drag and drop him in. You can see that guy came in a lot bigger this time, so I'm going to turn that safe zone back on just so I can see what I have to work with here. And there we go. And everything else is the same here. We're just going to go down our template and find the color overlays. There's one right there. We'll change that over to blue. And to keep that same blue color, if we already had the code, obviously we'd use that code here. And let's go up and find the next one. We have a color overlay there. Change that. Change the whole thing over to blue. And then we just have a first name, which is red on this one, so we'll change that over to yellow. Just like that. And then it's just highlighting the names of everything else there too. So that's as simple as it is. It's not that hard. Again, before we save this out to send it to Colorado, turn off your safe zone. And we sent that in. Of course, we would change the name and everything too. If anybody has any questions on how these work, you can always email me directly at Shaun, S-H-A-U-N, at spotlightphotographics.com, or also click on the support contact us link on photosolutionsmarket.com, and that also goes directly to me. So these are all online now. Again, only $4 at Colorado Timberline. You can't beat that price for a product. We typically see these selling anywhere between $40 to $50 to the customer. That's a huge markup for a very small amount of work. So we think these are going to be really popular, almost as popular as our sportswear, but you could make that a package. Sportswear, a shirt, and a pennant at your next photo day. Again, thanks again for coming by. Photo Solutions Market and Spotlight Photographics' new product tutorial for the Game Day Series pennants. Have a great day.